Well, hey guys, it's me, Lord Ryujin again, bringing you all the latest gaming news, reviews, and anything else that I feel is relevant relating back to games. So, in this edition, I wanted to talk to you about what I promised last month with the motion controls. So, here we go. Starting with the very first thing that I got my hands on motion control wise. It was the Wii. So, people are very familiar with the Wii and how it works, how it operates. It's got a camera in here and it points at a sensor. To me, this one is very accurate as far as the controller goes because the camera's right here, so as long as you're directly facing the sensor, it works fabulous. It also works on many other levels. Hooking a classic controller up to it, for example, and playing 64 games with the classic controller. And just in general, the nunchuck is great. So there is that. Not a lot that I can say about the Wii because I'm sure all of us either have one or have experienced it. We get it. This so far is my favorite, and we'll get back to that in a moment. What I wanted to move on to next was what I got for Christmas with the PlayStation Move and its additional accessory, the navigation controller is what it's called. I forgot for a minute. What I like about this is that they're both wireless, so I can literally just wave it around, flag it about, not have to worry about an attached cord like I had to do with the Wii. I also like how the navigation controller can really be used on its own. That is a great feature to me because if I'm watching something like Netflix or Hulu Plus, all I need is this. I can navigate using the D-pad or the nunchuck and then hit X or circle to go back. X to enter and proceed and circle to go back. That's all I really need. With the Move controller, I can do the same thing as long as I'm in the cross media bar. I can hold down the trigger button and navigate through it. Works really nice. But I can't use it in such applications that I mentioned earlier as Hulu Plus and Netflix. So that's kind of a bummer there. But when used together in a game like Hydrophobia, it seems to play really nice. My one gripe though is it does seem to be a little too sensitive. And what I mean by that is if I am playing, for example, all it takes is for me to, I can be holding it like this, and if my hand slightly moves this way, I'll notice that the camera starts to move. It's rather annoying, but something that I'm sure I'm going to get used to after some time. I'm hoping to get my hands on like Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition, so that way I can really try the Move controller for it. But I'm not too happy with the Move controller because I felt this was all you needed. I mean, it already has 6-axis built into it. And for a game like Lair, using the 6-axis controller, or even Heavy Rain using the 6-axis controller, you can really see that it can be its own movement thing with the gyroscope 6-axis that's in here. So I didn't really feel as though Move was necessary, but they were trying to compete with Nintendo. I get it. Microsoft is saying that they were going to come out with Kinect, so they needed something else. I don't like the fact that Sony has to go and directly copy Nintendo with everything, but that is another topic altogether. I'm not really pleased by the fact that Sony has really decided to drop 6-axis controls altogether for something like Uncharted, for example, where you threw a grenade using 6-axis, or you would balance on logs using 6-axis, and now in Uncharted 2, suddenly that's gone. I don't really like that too much. And I have a feeling that when the PlayStation Vita comes out, because what they're doing now is showing how it uses the back touchpad and the front touchscreen for navigation for certain games, I wouldn't be surprised if they just dropped that for traditional controllers altogether. So shame on you, Sony, but I kind of get it. I kind of get it in a way, even though I do think that 6-axis needs to be something they need to continue to support. But speaking of things that are supported, we're moving on to the Xbox 360 Kinect. I'll show you a quick picture of it here. And with the Kinect, I was actually very, very pleased with it. Something that I didn't think I was going to be. because I went into Best Buys and I tried it out and I tried the demos of it, and it didn't really seem like something that was going to be that great, you know? Like, I don't get how it could recognize the voice, you know, the hand gestures. Maybe it was just the demo unit at the Best Buy, and it didn't seem to respond too great. But when I actually picked it up and I tried it, it actually works, and I'm quite happy with it. I've used my 360 a heck of a lot more because of Kinect, actually. So because sometimes I don't feel like getting up to get the controller, or sometimes I don't know where my controller is. So it's easy for me to just say, you know, where I want to go. Tell it, you know, to go to my video apps and Netflix, and then say play 3, and boom, I'm there watching what I want to watch without even having to get up to look for the controller, or in case the battery's low and I want it to charge, pop it on the charger and use Kinect. Real simple. And just based upon the few demo games that I've tried of Rise of Nightmares and other things, and even having a copy of Fruit Ninja Kinect, I really like the way that it responds. It's not as great with finding you as I thought it would be, but it's pretty good all in all. So now we have to get down to preference as far as what I prefer. You know, I've already told you that I like to use Kinect a lot. So each one has their own different use. So I want to take a minute to kind of, you know, kind of touch on that a little bit. I prefer using the Wii controller only because it is multifunctional. You know, when you pick it up, you can point, and it's automatically like holding a controller. So just like I'm holding my TV controller, and because of that, you know, it's automatically useful. I can use it for, you know, navigating through Netflix, going through the internet, typing. There doesn't need to be any additional accessories added to it. I can also hold it sideways to play games with it. So it automatically has dual uses there, on top of plugging in a classic controller or plugging in a nunchuck. So just off of this one thing alone, you have 4 different ways to play. Something that I'm very, very happy with. The Kinect cannot do that. It does use voice and it does use motion, but you can't plug anything into it to make it operate like that. You know, you either are using a controller or the Kinect. It's not like you can plug something into it and it, you know, functions as both. They do appear as though they're doing that for games like Mass Effect 3, where you can say certain things and it does it based upon voice commands. So that might change in a few years. And then, like I mentioned with the Move controller, I like the fact that I can navigate certain parts with it. And I also like the fact that I can use the navigation controller. But I don't really like the fact that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of support for it, for the Move controller. Because it seems like it's the best of the best, you know? Because it really seems like, hey, this thing can be a regular controller because you can use navigation, but you can also have motion controls if you choose to. But that goes back to Sony, I feel, dropping the support. You know, because when Nintendo came out with the Wii controller, they've used it for everything, and they've used the crap out of it. Same thing with Microsoft. They basically have taken Kinect and, you know, hey, these games use Kinect. These games are Kinect compatible even though they're regular games. I like the fact that I can do that with Sony, and the fact of, like I mentioned with Resident Evil 5, is I can use it to either play with a controller or with the Move controller. But I feel like there's not a whole lot of games that do that. Hydrophobia and Resident Evil 5 being the only 2 that I can name off the top of my head. Otherwise, it's either a Move game or it's a PlayStation 3 game. But otherwise, yeah, motion controls definitely do feel like they're the future. I'm very excited to see what the Wii U offers, especially since we learn more about the controller and it being, you know, having a gyroscope and all that stuff, and seeing what the future generations from Xbox and Sony will bring us. So that's my video. It's short, I know, not a whole lot. I'm running out of time. But be sure to tell me what you guys think about motion controls and what you expect from the future. And in the next edition, I plan to talk more about what I expect from future consoles, as well as what I think of Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft's online networks. So be sure to check that out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. I'm Lord Ryujin, and we're out.